Good afternoon. I'm Chief Tom Hackney. I'm Chief of Detectives with the Sheriff's Office. I'm coming this afternoon to talk about actually two sexual battery cases that we have. One of them has actually been run recently in the news. It's the case where the young lady on Arlington Expressway was sexually battered. That case occurred on the 9th of December. It was Friday night or Friday morning at about 10:15 or 10:20 in the morning. That occurred at 8560 Arlington Expressway. The victim in that particular case was walking on foot in that area of the expressway. She was picked up by the suspect, who took her to the area beside an open business at 8270 Arlington Expressway. She was sexually battered at that point. That case, the victim came in this afternoon, completed a composite sketch, which you will have electronically here. That sketch, when we looked at that sketch, it rang very similar to a case that we had on Sunday the 4th. That case has not been released to the public. The particulars in that case occurred Sunday night 12/4 between 4:30 in the morning and about 5 in the morning. The victim in that case was walking on foot in the 2900 block of Phillips Hwy. She was picked up by a black male and taken to another location in the Highway Avenue area. She was sexually battered as well. Both of the cases have very similar suspect descriptions. If the composite sketches are looked at and compared to each other, they are very, very similar in description. Almost looks like the same person would have drawn the same suspect. The suspect in this case, in both cases actually, is described as a black male, lighter complexion, somewhere between 25 and 35 years of age. One victim did not see the suspect out of the car, so she described his height as around 5 foot. The other victim described the suspect as maybe 5'9", 5'10". Both said he was around 160 pounds. What is unique in this case, or both of the cases together, both victims described the suspect's vehicle as a 99 to 2002 Ford Taurus, dark green or hunter green in color, dirty exterior, and a smelly interior. Again, these details did not come out until this afternoon when we interviewed the victim from the Arlington Expressway case, and she completed the composite sketch. She actually looked at several vehicles, was able to identify the type of vehicle. Again, that vehicle is of the almost identical description as the victim in the Phillips Hwy case. This information was new. We thought it to be relative when you look at the two composites as they come together and the vehicle description to put this information out. I feel like somebody was able to look at this and identify who the suspect in this case is, especially when you associate it with the vehicle description. We would appreciate a call. If anybody has any information on these cases, you certainly can remain anonymous. Call the Crime Stoppers at 866-845-TIPS. They are eligible for rewards, and you can remain anonymous, and we certainly would appreciate any information that somebody would have from looking at these descriptions. I can answer a few questions.
The height again, can you repeat what?
Sure. One of the victims in the cases did not see the suspect out of the vehicle, described him as 5 foot. The other victim said when he got out of the car he was maybe 5'9" and 5'10". So that's a large range, obviously, between 5 foot and 5'10", but somewhere in that neighborhood, and about 160 pounds.
You said the Taurus was green?
Taurus is dark green in color, specifically identified, and we're going to email you a photograph of the correct model of your car. I certainly want to caution that that is not the car in question, but it is the correct model year Taurus, and it is a dark green or hunter green vehicle, dirty.
2 rapes within 5 days. What does that tell you about the seriousness of, is this a serial rapist?
Who knows? I mean, with technical description of what makes a serial, 2 does not qualify as a series. 2 sexual batteries with similar descriptions within a 5-day period certainly is interesting to us, and to the point that we want to have that information get out to the public. The similar description, if it wasn't just the vehicle description, but when you look at the 2 composites together, I can't say without a doubt that these 2 are related, but I certainly can say that there are enough factors in here that caused me to come and release that information and ask for help.
And these are the only 2 that you know of?
These are the only 2 that we have at this point in time. Again, anybody with any information as to who this suspect is or any other thing else this suspect may have done, we'll entertain those as well.
Is there anything that this suspect is saying to the woman to get them in the car, like that could help someone in the public, any kind of dialogue?
One of the two cases, the suspect displayed a firearm. So there is the threat of physical force. In the other case, the suspect actually did use physical force to pull the victim into the car. You know, these sexual battery cases are the nature that details and releasing details is not something that we typically will do as to re-victimize the victims in these cases. There was a considerable amount of force used during the crimes, during the sexual batteries, and it is alarming to us, so we're asking for help. And somebody had a question on this side, I'm sorry.
Which one was the firearm, the first one?
The one on Phillips Highway, the first one, the suspect did display a firearm.
And that one was you just said taken to an area like is like kind of like by a building, like the other one?
The other one was, again, it was early morning, so it was a closed down business, and it was on Highway Avenue, which is some distance from Phillips Highway. But, you know, if you go to the expressway, it's right there as you would drop off of I-10.
Okay.
Is there any physical evidence beside to link these two together? Or?
Well, besides the vehicle description that's very similar, besides the suspect looking similar, besides his actions, I think that's enough that we can think the two are related at this point in time. Yes,
Is there any indication the suspect may have been injured, scratched, or anything by any of the victims that people will be looking for some sort
No,
of...
one of the victims, and you can see it in one of the composites, it looks like it could be a mole, but I won't come out and say it's a mole. She wasn't real sure that it was a mole, but it could be a mark on his face. There's nothing to indicate that he was injured by either of our victims in the cases, but the dirty car and the stinky interior, you'd obviously have to know him and be in his car to be familiar with the smell of his interior of his car, but you put all those facts together, somebody's going to know who this guy is.
Any other questions?
And that odor, just a
Musty, stinky odor.
Can we get that sketch before?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you all for coming. Appreciate your assistance.
Did I hand you